On this episode, getting the drift, transforming a pair of old Nissan 240s into slip-sliding drift cars. One team thinks a new engine will spark victory if it ever starts.
I thought it was going to be easier than it is.
While the other team battles over parts and feels betrayed by one of their own.
Bing got you that body kit? Yeah. Bing! You're breaking my balls here, man.
It's Team Slideways versus the Throttle Buddies.
2 cars, 2 teams, and 3 days. 2 groups of gearheads try to outgun each other in the garage, turning average autos into amazing rides. It all happens under the expert eye of champion rally car driver Andrew Comrie Picard. It's a battle to the finish line on Floor of the Wheels.
The Nissan 240SX. It was a proper sports car in Japan, but in North America it was sold with an underpowered engine and so was never very popular with enthusiasts. Until the late 1990s, when 2 things happened. First, tuners found they could import the original engines from Japan. And second, a new motorsport was created, drifting. We have 2 skilled teams of drift maniacs ready to transform these everyday cars into drift monsters. But first, let's turn them over to the judges.
I guess they're going to turn it into a drift car.
Yeah, these cars are excellent drift cars. Rear-wheel drive, front engine.
Adam Hutchinson is a 240SX expert and owns Ontario Race Fabrication.
Problem is they have a small 4-cylinder with very little power.
And the body has a lot of little things, dents and rust spots and that.
Rob Rezzo is a respected paint and body expert with Sherwin-Williams Automotive Finishes.
Because they're drifting cars, what about the suspension?
It's going to have to be replaced for sure.
Let's take a look at the interior.
Chico Moreira is a legend in custom car audio and is lead designer at 2001 Audio Video.
Obviously, these guys are going to want to lighten it up a bit.
If it's going to be a pure drift car, they're going to probably strip most of the interior out. Just from a weight savings point of view.
Well, judges, we have basically the same car.
Yeah, but this one has a lot more work. This bumper's not even fitting well. It's all rusted. I bet you that the frame rails and everything are going to be rusted too. And for drifting, they're going to have a real problem with that.
And you know, this interior smells like somebody's been dead in here for a while.
Well, it's got the same KA motor as the other car. However, the other car, I would say, is structurally, the front end of it is better than this one. This is like a Frankenstein of a bunch of parts.
My feeling on this is that the guys will have a lot more work.
The judges will rate both teams based on the level of improvements made to their designated drift cars. Now, let's meet our challengers. While some of these guys have met before in the drift scene, the Throttle Buddies are working as a team for the first time.
Oh, nice.
We get you the right car, Miggs?
I think so. Rear-wheel drive, that's going to be fun.
Known as Miggs in the drift world, Chris Magallo is a mechanic and champion drift car driver.
If you're going to work on a 240SX right now, that means drifting. And drifting is my thing. That's my hobby. That's what I'm really passionate about. So the chance to build a drift car, I mean, that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Team Slideways features 4 serious gearheads with vast experience in performance cars.
Nice. It's good. Brown interior.
Do they have a name for that kind of brown?
I don't think we can say that on television. Yeah.
Gotcha. Michael Kent is a veteran drift car racer and owner of DET Driftworks, specializing in drift car mechanical builds.
My first word was car. And the knowledge that I could bring to the table is doing this from a really grassroots level. I mean, I know what will make a car look good going sideways.
Okay, teams, you've seen your cars. Now for the rules. You've only got 3 days to transform your 240s into drift cars and no more than $12,000 to spend on them. Come Judgment Day, your cars have to be ready to be assessed, and then they'll be judged out of 60 points. 20 for the mechanical work, 20 for the exterior and body, and 20 for the interior and audio. After that, we'll go to a drift track, and whoever drifts better will get 10 bonus points. So, Throttle Buddies, How you feeling?
When it comes to drift, it's going to depend a lot more on driver, and we've got a better driver.
We'll see what happens on track day.
Yeah, we're gonna have more power. We're gonna have, you know, a better drift car. They're going down.
All right, teams, talk is cheap, but time's running. Let's get to work. It's day one of the 3-day build, and our teams attack their identical Nissans armed with 2 different strategies.
What we're going to try and prove is that you don't need a lot of power to drift. And we're going to focus mostly on the suspension and the brakes.
Bing Wong runs Canada's largest 240SX club and has owned more than a dozen 240s himself.
It's just a fresh canvas. I've seen their potential. I've seen them go right. I've seen them go really wrong.
We gotta get that suspension on, get it on quick.
Yeah, we gotta get that out of the way.
I consider myself one of probably the top installers around.
Known as Farmer, Brian Stiefel is a 240 club member and a professional audio designer.
I can do whatever I want with the car. Possibilities are endless.
This one's all post. It's got rod underneath it as well, eh? So regardless, it's coming off. I'm not that cocky, but I think my painting gets it.
Davey Pereira is a pro paint and body man full of great custom car ideas.
The way I can foresee a car, the way it's gonna look, color-wise, color schemes.
On the other side of the garage, Team Slideways have a strategy that's all about power.
This thing is going out.
You gonna swap it?
Yeah.
What's that gonna do for you?
It's actually a smaller engine, but more power.
More power is what Chris St. John is all about. He's a talented mechanic and skilled drift car driver.
I always drove crazy trying to slide every corner. Back then, we didn't know it was drifting. We just had fun, right? That's where my heart is right now, drifting.
I'll rip the interior out, get the color change on the way while you guys work on the mechanical under the hood.
Paul McFarland is an award-winning car audio specialist.
When I saw that interior that we had to deal with, brown interior, we had to change everything in there. It's going to be a lot of work.
Good to go.
Andy DeRoos brings all-around automotive experience to the team.
Suspension, brakes, powertrain, the real hardware.
The build-off is shaping up to be a showdown between power and finesse.
I think it's going to come down to who's more focused. You know, who's got a better game plan. Do you want to shampoo all this stuff to make it easier to work with? Yeah.
So we should do that now.
Let's do it now. Let's do it now then.
The throttle buddies must make sure their stock engine runs well. Team Slideways is planning to install a more powerful engine so they get to work removing the old one.
We're swapping the motor out. We're doing, you know, intercooler. We're going to do turbo on there. We're just going full out.
The tight deadline gives everyone little time to figure out what makes their cars and teammates tick.
3 days, that's not a lot of time. And of course, the biggest thing for me is I don't know these guys. I don't know the strengths. I don't know the weaknesses.
I'm sure we're going to have, you know, some arguments and disagreements, and I'm ready for it. It'll be all right.
That's dangerous. Nice. Morning.
We have to work as a team, and we have to stay focused.
Their strategies may be different, but these two teams have one thing in common: confidence.
We've got the power, the skill, the knowledge, and the determination to make a competent and reliable drift car on any racetrack anywhere in the world.
We are going to win this competition because we are dedicated to getting this job done, regardless of what it takes.
Coming up, our teams take it to the track for bragging rights and bonus cards. As day one continues, our two teams are deep into turning their Nissan 240s into drift cars. At the end of the build, both rides will be judged for points and the teams will compete in a drift-off. Drifting is a niche sport that presents special challenges for the build, and each team thinks they have the best strategy.
It's very open that we're doing two different things, and we're taking two different approaches.
Our team strategy is power with beauty. It's going to be show with go, you know.
We decided not to do a turbo car. For drifting, you can do it with a normally aspirated car with a proper suspension setup.
The engine in the Throttle Buddies 240 has over 400,000 kilometers on it. They plan to scrub it down and tune it up to make sure it can withstand the intense demands of drifting. side, Team Slideways' plan puts an emphasis on horsepower.
Relying on suspension only to win a drift event is risky. The best thing I ever did to my drift car, build a motor.
Before you install a new motor, you have to take out the old one, and Team Slideways is elbow deep in this complex process.
This is some Jane Fonda shit, man. 20 minutes into this, and I'm sweating like a...
The motor swap is not a small endeavor. If nobody had ever done the swap before, there's no way we'd be able to pull this off.
Taking an engine out and putting an engine back in, not only does it take a lot of time, but it leaves a lot of room for error.
Our teams know that it's very hard to build a good drift car for only $12,000, and they'll do anything to get an advantage. So now they're going to get a chance to win an extra part. It's time to put down the tools and step away for our first challenge. All right, teams, welcome to the challenge. And the challenge is a go-kart race. Each one of your team members will compete doing 3 hot laps of this track. Then we'll total your best lap times. Whichever team runs faster overall will win a set of these rims to put on their car. Nice. Gentlemen, start your engines. Mike and Davey are the first drivers to duke it out. On your marks, get set. Go down. Go! And with pride and parts on the line, nobody wants to lose. Thanks to Davey, the Throttle Buddies are off to a quick start. All right, gentlemen, go! Bing is ready to bring it home for the boys in blue, even if he has to play hardball. Takes the third heat for Team Slideways. And if Andy can take the fourth, it could mean a comeback. Get out of my way! We did it, man. We did it. We did it. How do you feel about your chances overall?
I don't know. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
All right, teams, and I have the results. The Throttle Buddies with a total time of 86 seconds, .725. 86.725.
That sounds great.
Nervous. We need this. We need this. We need this.
Team Slideways with a total time of 85.8.
We needed that, man. We needed that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that was fun. Congratulations, but you got a lot of work to do. You got to get back to the garage and finish the car.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Thank God. Thank God.
Back at the garage, the teams don't waste any time getting back into their builds. And Team Slideways is nearly ready to install their SR20 turbo engine.
That's sweet, man. That's like total transformation.
We've got the entire interior gutted. The whole engine bay is clean.
Door stands
The
are half done.
SR20's prepped, ready to go.
I want the engine in tonight. It'd be ready to run tonight.
The other team chose not to do a motor swap, and I guarantee you it's because the amount of work and complexity that's involved.
You know, even in the end, if we don't win this drift event, what it's going to come down to is, could the other team have done what we did? That's what it comes down to. Could they have done a motor swap? I don't think so.
The Throttle Buddies think their opponent's turbo engine swap is overrated.
Their big thing is horsepower, 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 whereas my thing is driver skill and a properly balanced car. That's the angle we're taking right now.
But as the team's driver, Miggs knows keeping their stock motor is also a gamble.
I'm a little worried because this is just 140 horsepower, old tired engine. It has 400,000 kilometers on it. So we might take it to the track, do a couple runs, and boom, it might just blow. So that's the one big risk that we're taking. I want to win, badly. I can tell you that much.
And their strategy for winning involves more than just mechanicals.
We're going to have to win on the aesthetics. We're going to have a sharp stereo and a sharp interior for sure.
Farmer is overseeing the Throttle Buddies' interior transformation, but he's having trouble getting access to the car.
I need it down for like an hour, man. I need to make some more templates.
An hour's way too long.
Well, not if you don't want me to do the stereo.
Okay.
Just gonna make it look simple, make it look nice and clean. We don't have the time frame to be elaborate and be all really, really crazy. I'll make it look good, I'll make it sound good.
You know, this competition is looks, interior, sound, and we want to put the whole package on the ground.
Team Slideway's interior is being designed by Paul, and his first priority is a color change.
We had that ugly brown interior, as you guys saw. So now we've got it all a nice satin black. So we'll go with the whole theme, red and black. And we got a lot of red accents, like this dash panel that are going in right here. So.
But that's just the beginning of his plans for the new interior.
We had to think of something different, something that the other team wasn't going to do and wasn't going to think of. We're going to pull the back seats out. We're going to put the stereo up there where the back seats were.
So we're going to try and mold this right in and basically blend it right back from here right into the back of the car. So it looks like one big piece and a nice custom enclosure.
Across the garage, Bing is confident his team can outmuscle the competition.
I need somebody stronger than me. I need somebody stronger than me. Beauty. You know what, to be honest with you, the coolest part is probably Dave's bodywork, the fact that we're under here and he's already doing all that stuff right now.
What I've done is I've basically 180'd all the dents, any scratches the car might have had. I went ahead and modified the fenders, and I put the slit in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend it in like that, and then we're going to do like a backside of mesh or some type of grill in there. It'll just make it look a little bit more modern. Bing and Mix have their vision for the suspension and how the car is going to handle. I have the vision for what the car is going to look like. I think between all that combined, I think we got a pretty serious car.
Davey's background in bodywork gives the Throttle Buddies an advantage over Team Slideways, who have no body specialist. It's up to Andy, the team's general mechanic, to design a paint scheme.
I got a picture in my mind of what we're going to do with this thing paint-wise. I think it's going to look really trick.
We'll make this look like a show car inside, a race car on the outside.
I need you guys to come and see me for about 5 minutes because I just want to make sure we're confirmed on what we're doing with the paint.
Okay, let's go.
We got to nail down the specs, and then we got to go with the colors too.
Yeah, I think that's good.
As day one comes to an end, these two transformations are well underway, but both teams have run into problems.
We're missing some of the parts that we had planned to have for today. Yeah.
And over at Team Slideways, Chris's goal to get the engine installed today has come up short.
The thing that's taken us a little bit longer and I wasn't expecting is we're doing more with keeping it clean and trying to do it show. So it's taken more time. I thought it was going to be easier than it is.
Coming up, a battle over body kits threatens to break up one team over their build.
Bing is more concerned about the other team than his own team.
It's early in day two, and both teams have made a lot of progress. Team Slideways has removed their stock 240 power plant, and they're installing a new turbo motor imported directly from Japan. The Throttle Buddies haven't done anything on the engine. They're focusing on suspension upgrades that they think are important for drifting. Both teams are confident about where they're at, but there's still lots to do, and lots can go wrong. The Throttle Buddies start this crucial second build day feeling relaxed.